Hi, Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. Today we are installing the seat covers on the 2005 Dodge Ram 2500. We're going to walk through all the steps here. It's the Midnight Croc diamond stitch for the insert, Java Croc for the trim. Turned out really looking nice. Front and rear seats on this crew cab, and just a great looking set. So let's do this install. All right, so we're working on a 2005 Dodge Ram today, and this outside bolster is the one where it's lost a lot of its foam, and you can see it's just condensed. It's just pushed down a lot more compared to this other side over here. So the original upholstery actually is in decent shape. It did tear here, and the customer did sew that together a little bit there. But what we're going to do today is just add another layer of foam on top of that. So when we put the seat cover on top, it will have a little bit of an extra bolstered section right here. And because again, this has been pushed down over years of use. So I'm going to grab this kit right here. Here's this foam patch kit. And I'm going to pull out some of these, at least one, maybe two of these smaller pieces of foam here. And we're just going to cut this to make sure that it fits to this size right here. And again, that's just going to add a little bit more. And the biggest section right here is right where my hand is. This is kind of built up a little bit here and then in the back. So I might even add like another section, like a double layer on top of that. And we'll go through and get this done. This is going to be our double-sided adhesive right here. There's adhesive on the back. So you peel this off, adhesive on one side, peel the other side, adhesive on the other. And I'm just going to cut that to the shape so then this foam sticks a little bit better to that seat. It's not a permanent bond, but it's going to stick long enough until I can get that seat cover, a new seat cover pulled on top. We're just pulling on top, simple seat cover that pulls over there. And we're not replacing the original upholstery. We're just going to pull a new seat cover on top of this here. So again, first thing I'll do is take this foam here and just make sure I trim this. It's a little bit long up here, and I'm going to round these corners. And it looks like what I'll do here is just kind of round all the corners so it lays nice and smooth. A couple things you're going to want to have is, the foam patch kit like this, and then your scissors, and really that's about it for this job. It's gonna be a pretty simple job that we're doing today. So that's a good foam piece right there that we'll use right there. Again, there's so much of a divot right here. And now you could always do a full foam repair if you wanted to, like replace the entire foam core. That's always a great thing to do. That takes a little bit more labor, but this is just more of a quick patch job to get you back on the road doing good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just another kind of layer of foam in this area right here. And I won't go the full length on this one. I'm just going to go to where I kind of feel that divot right here. So we're going to cut a section out like this. Okay, so that's just going to give us a little bit more cushion right there. Gets us a little closer to this other side right there. Now it's not as dense a foam that you might want to use in like a foam repair, completely repairing the foam. But again, it gives you a little bit more cushion right there and gets you off of, because eventually you can wear onto that metal. You can feel that metal down there, and that's what really starts tearing up your upholstery. Once you hit the metal, then it just ruins upholstery there. So we're going to take this. Now what we're going to do is we need some adhesive right here. And so we're going to cut this adhesive out so it's pretty close to the shape that we got here. Okay, perfect. So there's our adhesive sheet for that one right there. And then we're going to cut some adhesive for this one as well, so this will stick on. Okay, so that's pretty good there. That'll be the adhesive to stick to the actual seat. This one will stick on top right there like that. And then we're gonna do one other piece here, is we're gonna put on a big sheet over this. Okay, we're gonna try this out and taking a big sheet and just give it a little bit more, kind of keep all that foam together right there, put that on top, and then we'll be able to pull the seat cover on top of all of this. And this whole sheet right here, this is probably pretty close to what we're gonna need if we're gonna use this entire sheet like that. So that's pretty close right there. So let's start putting this adhesive together. So we'll do this first one like this here. It's kind of tricky initially to get that peeled off, but here I'm gonna peel that one off like that right here. Okay. What we'll do, okay. So I got it pretty close there. That'll be close enough for what we need to use. So we'll just kind of stick that, make sure that's sticking on. Okay. Now what we'll do is take this edge. We got to peel this, separate this from the other adhesive. Okay, so we got that stuck on like that now. So that one's on. Now what we're gonna do is take this one. This is our middle section where we're just building that up a little bit more right there. Okay, so here's our next little patch. This right here, again, we're gonna stick that on in that area. So here's that biggest divot area right there. We're gonna get that double foamed. Okay, like that. Okay, so those are holding on. They're tacky enough to just kind of stay in place until we get the other seat cover on top. Again, not a permanent bond. We could pull this, you could pull that up and off, but it's just holding enough until I get this other section. What we're gonna try to do here is get this pulled over. We're gonna stick this down like that on the sides, and I'll even go over, try to pull that down a little bit more right there, and then we're gonna come up and over into that area. And again, just creating a kind of this big patch on this area, just to bolster that up a little bit more. It gives it a little bit more durability as well, but keeps you off of that metal on the underside down there. Now you could probably stick that on a table, like a harder surface, so and press down on that a little flatter right here. I'm just showing you here on the seat like this. What I'm going to do now too is I'm just going to actually round these corners a bit. I like rounding the corners. It just kind of keeps things from catching as I'm installing the rest of the seat covers here. Okay, so goal is that we're gonna come down to about here and then get that pulled over on top right there, like that. See how this goes here. We'll pull this off. Again, you gotta separate that adhesive layer. I have done this with spray glue as well, which works. You could definitely use some like 3M spray glue. That's a little bit going to be more of a permanent bond compared to this is more of a temporary bond. So spray glue would also work. Okay, you can see it's definitely allows you to kind of play around with the location right there. And I did try to kind of pull down just to tighten it around that area a little bit right there. And the other thing I can do here is kind of pull this up and in a little bit like that. That should help there a little bit to kind of keep this all together. So again, that's just gonna build this section up a little bit more. Just get it a little bit closer. Again, you're not gonna be exact. It's not a new foam core, but that's the patch, okay, right there. Now what we're gonna do is take the seat cover and install that on top. So I've already installed the seat covers on the passenger side over there. Now here's the driver cover that we're gonna get put on. And that's why those foam patches really only need to be a temporary bond, because what's gonna keep that down solid is this seat cover here. This seat cover has straps and buckles underneath the seat that secure it on. There's Velcro on the back side right here as well. This particular seat cover is Midnight Croc Diamond with Java Croc trim. And we're gonna get things pulled on right here. I'll start pushing that all through, tightening things down. Also, this show you the view on the sides here, how that finishes out. All right, so again, we are on the driver bottom here, getting this install going on the seat cover portion now. Again, we've done the foam patch just to repair that a little bit. Just builds up a little bit more cushion on that driver side there, as that has worn down after the years of use on that. So what we'll do now is we are going to start to fit this on, and down here there's going to be a cutout for the seat reclining knob. That's this cutout right here. Both passenger and driver sides have that. Now this one is a driver electric as well, driver electric controls. So that's one thing we'll need to get done, is tuck this around driver electric section. Stretch that. You know what? I'm going to use the handy dandy install tool that's included here to get this tucked around right here. Now this section over here, there's a draw cord right here and right here, and these need to go around the sides. They're going to tie to each other on the back side. I'll show you that in a little bit. And it's going to go on the outside of this seat belt. And this Velcro, when you have this smoothed out on the side and pulled back as far as you want it to go, that's when you want to stick the Velcro down. So I'm actually not going to stick that Velcro down until I have this pushed through here, just to make sure that I got the front lined up. So once that Velcro sticks down, it's just a little bit harder to pull it up. Now, one tip for you is I'm gonna be pushing this through, but you can use the plastic bag the seat covers come in and wrap that bag around, or just a bag that you have in your garage. Wrap that around this section, and so the Velcro doesn't catch as you're pushing this through. That's just a little install tip for you. Not required, but it does save you some hassle if you find that it's catching. You can see if I hadn't done that patch job, this would definitely be more indented right there. And you just kind of have to play it by ear, how much foam you want to put in, kind of build that up, just eyeball it. You can typically go like a little bit, maybe even a ½ inch above where you think it might need, because again, you're going to compress it down after you get in and out, driving inside this truck all the time here. Now this seat cover does have foam backing to it, so if you're doing a different seat cover, that's one thing to consider, is that it will, these do have 3/8 inch foam backing on this side, and it's double foam backed when it's diamond stitched. So that way you get some extra cushion, some extra foam when you're on these particular seat covers here. Okay, so I got that lined out pretty good now. We need to go to the back side, finish pulling the Velcro down, attaching up the back sides here. Now on the back side, there's going to be 3 buckles and 1 center buckle that has a strap on it, and that middle strap is the locking strap, or safety strap, we call it. And that's going to go down to a spring and then back to itself and lock down so the seat cover never slides forward. But first, I'm just gonna pull that back, make sure that's feeling good right there, kind of lined up. And there's this carpet on the back side of this seat, so that you can stick that Velcro. There's Velcro on the back of this right here. You can stick that down. That locks that down as well. Then I'm gonna go underneath. So I went to a spring on the underside there, and there's actually these like vertical springs going this way, and there's some like cross, like plastic that holds it in, and that's strong enough to go around it right here. And so I'm gonna go through the middle slot and then the outside slot. So from the front side, there's this strap that I passed through to the back. Now, before you do that, raise your seat up all the way when it's an electric seat like this, just because it'll allow you some more space. And now what we're going to do is take this strap, go through this buckle like this right here. Okay. And we're going to tighten that up right there. Now what I like to do is once I have this started right here, I'll pass that strap towards the front. Then I'm going to go to the front side, compress my hand down, and then finish tightening that. The other things to do on the back side here, here's this side Velcro. Both sides have this Velcro right here. And what I'm going to do is lift up this Velcro right here for a second. I'm going to pull that nice and tight, stick that down right here, and then I'll cover that right there. Same thing over here. This Velcro doesn't come around as far as the other one does, but now that I've got the cover in my spot, I can just finish pulling that Velcro down right there. And then we need to tie up these drawstrings. So here's the 2 drawstrings right here. I'm going to tie a noose in one of them right here like this. So there's my noose right there. Okay, so I got that. And I'm going to take this other side, come through right here, and then I can adjust the tightness. Adjust how tight I want it. I'm gonna pull this back right here. Anytime I pull back, I just like pulling straight back on these, and then pull that over. So just pull straight back, and then make that turn. There we go. Like that. And initially I was starting to go like really far down right there, but I'm gonna go up above, right here, kind of just below this carpet. Right there is where this best spot for this string is, right there. Okay, so I got that pulled tight. Now what I'm gonna do is just finish tying that off. I'm gonna throw a loop into this side right here, then take that loop and then just tie it off. Like that right there. And then that I can just finish tucking that up underneath the seat cover. Anything loose, we tucked up underneath. There's these little springs underneath the seat that you can tuck these loose pieces to. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is go to the front side again. Make sure these two straps that we did up are pointing towards the front. And then we're gonna compress the front and finish tightening those. And what I mean by compressing this down is that with this right hand, I'm gonna push down on the seat, and with my other hand, I'm gonna reach underneath and pull that canvas strap back. First, I need to find it, so I'm gonna reach underneath and find where I push that strap towards the front here. Okay, there it is, found it. So again, compressing here, right, like that on this, while pulling with the other hand just helps kind of tighten that up on the back side right there. I'm just making sure I work the cover over and kind of molding it to the seat a little bit more, like that right there. Okay, so now that cover is all done, all installed right there. We'll just make sure everything's tucked in, looking good right there. And that's your bottom driver piece. That also would wrap up if you're doing this patch job. The patch is hidden now underneath that. Covers on nice and tight, nice and secure as you get in and out. That's all looking good now. Next section that we're gonna do is the driver backrest. And first thing we want to do is pull out the headrest. And there's just a push little pin on the sides there. Push that and then it'll release. And we're gonna take this, here's the cover. You already have that passenger backrest on, it installs the exact same way. We're gonna take this cover and fold it inside out a bit, like this. That'll just give us a little bit more fabric to hold on to as we pull this down. Once I have it to this spot where the shoulders are filling out, right here, I'm going to take these, there's two cutouts for the headrest. I'm just gonna make sure these are lining up here for me. And I need to shift the cover towards the driver's side just a little bit. I'm gonna bring this forward. Now again, you can use the install tool to trim this out right here and tuck this fabric underneath. Now I'm going to take this fabric that I had rolled inside out and unroll that like that. Just make sure that's all looking good, smoothed out. Okay, now next thing we'll do is I'm going to put that back all the way to start. I'm gonna start that right there and then lift this up and then push this through right here. Again, if you need to, you could use the plastic bag trick just to decrease some of the friction as it's coming in here. Now what I'm going to do is get on the back side right here, and I'm going to take that fabric that I just pushed through, take both hands like this and grab that fabric and just kind of roll my wrists over it as I tighten that down on the front side. And then just go over that, make sure everything is conforming to the seat, looking good. Just making sure everything's smoothing down. And just kind of massaging over the cover like that helps to get it to conform to the seat a little bit better. Okay, so that's looking good there. Now what I'll do is there's felt on the back. I need to pull that up and stick that Velcro on the back side. So here's the view from the back side right now. I'm gonna pull this down like that. Here's this felt. I'm gonna pull that up and then pull this Velcro down over it and stick that Velcro onto that felt. Okay, so that's stuck down now, like that. And the backrest is all done now. Now it's time to do the headrest cover. This is one of the front headrest covers, the driver right here, but driver and passenger are the same on this vehicle. So what we're gonna do is get the headrest cover opened up. We do have a logo, the elk logo on this one. And you could order it without logos or with one of our preset logos, or take it into a local embroidery shop and have a logo put on if you want. Okay, what we're going to do is we need to stretch this over the headrest, and I found really the best way to do that is turn the seat cover inside out partially, okay, like this right here, and that just doubles up the sewing and just kind of fortifies that a little bit more as you're stretching this. And what we're going to do is put this on the table, or you could put this down on the carpet. Carpet's great too, because then you can put all your weight right on top of it and stretch this on. And it's nice because then you can get your knee onto it and stretch this over. What I'll try here is I'll actually just try putting my chest onto it, see if we can get that. Again, my favorite method is taking it in on the carpet, putting your knee down on the headrest itself, and then it gives you two hands to pull this on out here. Oh, we're starting to get it here, so we'll keep going like this. Okay, we're just gonna keep working that down. Again, I'm pushing with like my thumb or the other hand as I pull with the other. And I will switch it to the other side here. Do the same thing. Biggest key with this is compressing the headrest. Now what we can do here, we're pretty close. We almost got this kind of filled out on the top. I'm gonna set it down on this cardboard and table, and I'm just gonna push down. I'm pushing into the cardboard pretty good. Okay, now you can see where I got it right now is like this line is not lined up. It's too far to the right, so I actually need to shift this whole cover going this way, but I'm not going to take it off to do that. I'm actually just going to roll it, do the roll method where you just roll the cover on the headrest like this. and that helps just kind of shift it. And you just keep doing that until the lines get lined up where you want them. You're getting pretty close right there. And then these flaps are going to tuck underneath like that here. And we're ready to attach up the Velcro. The other thing I'll do is, I can see there's a little bit of space up here, so I'm going to finish pulling it down a little bit more now. You can hear that popping is the cardboard as I push onto that here. Okay, so I got a little bit more slack out of the top now. The other thing I'm going to do is, there's this like excess fabric where the fabric is sewn together. I'm going to try to get that to either be so there's this right here is what I'm saying. There's this little extra fabric on the inside there. I'm going to try to get that excess fabric that's underneath here either pulled to the front side or all of it to the back, to the side here. I think I'm going to go to the side because that seems to be where the majority of this is. So I'm going to reach up underneath and just kind of push that to the side. This is just more of a smaller tip or detail here, but it can help the headrest finish out just a little bit cleaner at times. Do the same thing over here. Reach in and push that fabric around. Just trying to get it to line up a little bit better. So again, it's just all about working it and massaging it and just kind of getting it to lay on there. You wouldn't have to go through all of this. This is just kind of how I do my installs. Okay, so that's pretty good right there. What I'm going to do now is attach this Velcro right here. So we're going to hold this down right here and pull this on. Stick that on right like that. Okay, and then we're going to need to take this flap, tuck that in right there. Like that. Okay, great. That's all looking good there. Again, you can just kind of smooth that out a little bit more. And we got our headrest on. So what we'll do now is take this headrest, push it back into the backrest, and then we're gonna move on to the center seat section, which is the 20 section. Now we're gonna tackle the middle 20 section. So this is this middle seat that lifts up into a seat. It's a 3-piece 20 section. So there's a lid, a backrest, and a bottom section. And there's 3 covers, so it all folds and functions how it should. And what we'll do is we'll do the lid up here first. The lid is going to be this cover right here. And I have had people kind of confused which covers which. A lot of times they do come with labels, but if they're not, this one right here is some Velcro opening. There is a cutout here, but it can be confused with the bottom section. Now, your lid is not going to have foam backing to it because it's technically not a seating area. Foam is going to be included on all seating areas. So that'd be one way to distinguish the lid here. Again, here's the lid like this. And what we'll do is stretch this over. There's going to be this Velcro right here that's going to come together, and I'm going to pull this one. I'll line it up as best you can there, just to keep things lined up smooth. Okay, so I got that put together. Now you're gonna notice there's there's Velcro on the back side. That Velcro is going to then connect to the Velcro that's on this 20 section backrest right here. Okay, and so what we're gonna do here is open this up. This is gonna push towards the back underneath right here. I'm gonna pull that out. Now this Velcro will need to come up because now this one is gonna go straight back. Okay, this Velcro is. And these ones are gonna be your horizontal pieces going, or I should say your perpendicular pieces going perpendicular to the console like that right there. And this front section, I'm gonna try to line this up with the front edge right here, and then there's this center sew line that's gonna be that kind of your center. Well, that is your center line right here at the console. So I can see there's like quite a bit of slack that I need to pull out in the back here. Now, just to keep this Velcro from sticking everywhere for right now, I'm just gonna attach that together. Just those two. Again, this one right here needs to go straight back. Okay. Now what I'll do is just like lift this up partially right here, and I'm just finish pushing that towards the back like that. Yeah, that can happen if you have that lid open. I can open up back there, but we're getting closer to getting the slack out on this. And again, I'm gonna have this pretty much just lined up with this top line right here. You know, that kind of that edge should line up right there. Okay, so I've pulled that through enough, and I'll show this in another view, but I'm connecting the Velcro on the back side now, and getting this all connected up there. Okay, now let's see if I can get this reclined back so you can see this a little bit better. Okay, so here's this Velcro I've attached up on the back side right here. Here's this side Velcro that we're gonna wanna take this and pull this together right here. Okay, so there's that side Velcro right there, connected up. Now, and I'll do the same thing, and there's gonna be a little extra right here that I'm just gonna take my scissors out of my tool out here. And we are not gonna need this extra, so I'm just gonna trim that. There's not so much extra right there. Okay. And I'm gonna do that same thing over on this side as well, just attach up that Velcro. Okay, so I got those attached now. This is lined up quite good right there, looks like. So now what I'll do is go back to these straps here, and we're gonna pull that nice and snug. Now I have noticed between the years of installing these that adding this extra fabric, when you get, this is the sim leather fabric that is a little thicker than some of the canvas fabric, it will add a little bit of a little bit of thickness around the sections to close. So often you just got to give a little pop like that to get it to close down, and then it closes up right there. Okay, so that is the 20 section backrest and lid cover. So those are connected up now. We're gonna move to the 20 section bottom. And again, that is gonna be this cover right here. This has the foam backing on it. So that's how you can make sure that you got the right cover. This is a bottom opening 20 section, so it's gonna lift up like that. If yours was a non-opening, then the cover would actually look quite different and not lift up like this right here. What we'll do though is we're going to stretch this over like so. There will be a cutout up at the top for the handle that lifts this up. Okay, so here's the cutout right here, so we just want to stretch that around now that we're to that area. There we go. So I wasn't quite ready to stick that Velcro down, and there's quite a bit of Velcro, so once it sticks good. So we're just going to lift that up for a second. Now that I know this is kind of filled out up here, I'm going to take this section, pull that Velcro, stick that Velcro down onto that carpet. So that's not going anywhere now. That looks good there. Now this is going to push towards the back, and then this also sticks to the carpet. There's Velcro on the top here, so I'm just going to try to smooth that out, make sure it's lined up. Everything's looking good there. And then I'll stick that Velcro down. Okay, and then there's these little flaps, just going to give you a little bit more coverage. You can tuck in those flaps like that, right there. Okay, sweet. So there's the 20 section bottom, all looking good. Right there, 20 section backrest and top are all covered and looking good. So we are ready to move to the back seats. So we'll be doing the 60 backrest first, and there's the cover for it. And what we need to do is pull out the headrest. Pulls out the same way. There's a little push button right here. You can pull that headrest out. And we're going to start laying this cover out. And this backrest is fixed to the seat, so you're not going to need to pull that out. What we'll do is there's straps that go down the back side. They're going to go to buckles. We're going to take these straps and pass these towards the front here, like this. And then right here, we're going to take this seatbelt, pull the seatbelt out. And then what we'll do is start to fit this over right here, and lifting this seat up a little bit, or the bottom seat up, I should say. This allows for that backrest comes forward a little bit, so then you can tap this over the top right here. Now there is some Velcro on this particular cover that is gonna allow me to stick to the carpet right here, which would be nice, just kind of keep this nice and flush right here. And before I stick that, actually, I'm going to make sure I have enough play to get these pulled around, these headrest post sections. And again, if you have a tougher material that needs to, it's not stretching as easy as this one, you're going to use your install fiber stick tool to stretch that around. Okay, so we're going to have that capped over right there. So now I can tell, okay, this is about, you know, this is where I want this here. So I'm going to push this onto that carpet. Now, one key thing here is a lot of people will mess up is there's this seat belt. I pulled that seat belt out and then slid the cover underneath, and that seat belt just goes on the outside of this cover like that. Okay. So what we'll do now is start to take this cover, and we need to pull this down. Now you'll notice that this particular cover, there's no slots for seat belts because the seat belts aren't actually connected into the seat. The seat belts go down to the bottom of the floor, and they don't weave through the seat, other than, you know, this one. So, but you just pull that seat belt out and slide underneath. So you won't need any slots. We're just gonna be pulling this down, and you'll put it like, here's a seatbelt receiver over here, and I'm just pushing this on the back side of it like that right there. Just make sure you're not covering it. Sometimes I've had people cover their seatbelt and realize, oh, cover my seatbelt there, and then you just gotta release the cover. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is fill underneath this seat right here, finish pulling this down. You can see that starting to straighten out up there as I pull that down. Okay, so next step, now that I have that pulled down most of the way, next step is going to be, I'm going to pull this all the way straight down a little bit here. We're going to take these straps. These straps need to pass down the back side of the seat, okay? And we're going to take that, all of these here, so there's 3 on this side and 2 over here, and to pass them down, I'm going to have that seat, you know, the seat up like this initially, and I'm just going to push this down the back side of the seat. So let's see if we can have success with this very first one as we're dropping it down here. Okay, so there's that strap right here, so that I just passed down. We're gonna do that same thing with all these other straps. Make sure we pass them down, and then they're gonna cinch up to these buckles that are down here on the bottom. Okay, so I have all the straps pulled down. Now, one thing when you're attaching these straps, make sure that you're attaching the correct strap to the right location buckle. I've done that before. I've gotten them off, and then I had to go through and change them all out. And just, I mean, you could cross them, like, you know, it's just not ideal. It's, you know, it's better to have the strap lined up with the buckle that you're doing. So I'm going to reach underneath here, and I'm just going to start them right now. I'm not going to go the full tightness. I'm just going to get them started, and then I'm going to show you a trick on how to get a little bit more space to tighten up these straps, these buckles here. Okay, so we have most of those tightened up there. Now, the trick is to, actually this seat has this kind of fold out section right there to make more of a flat space. So I'm just gonna fold that out, because what you need to do here is, the best way to tighten this up is by folding this seat down and reaching underneath here and tightening them up. Okay, now there's a few things in this toolbox I'm going to get out of the way. So now I'm going to fold that down, and then that opens up quite a bit more space on the bottom and back side right here, and then it allows for more space for your hand to fit in underneath here. And you're just going to want to go through. I'm going to have to twist underneath this seat a little bit more right here to get these other straps. Okay, I think I got those tightened up pretty good. You can see that the cover's really hugging to the backrest, or to the back seat right now. So that's looking really good. Now there's two Velcro pieces on these outsides right here and over there. And what you're gonna do with this is just pull that nice and tight and then stick it onto this carpet on the side right here. That's all looking good there. I'm going to go to the other side, attach on that Velcro. So that's all done for the backrest now. What we're going to do is move on to the bottom. I'll just do a quick check to make sure everything else is looking good. Push this in a little bit more right here. All in all, that's looking great there. Yeah, we'll move on to the 60 section bottom now. Now the 60 section bottom is just one big kind of sleeve that slides on top here. And what we'll do is we'll fold it partially inside out. Okay, so we got that folded partially inside out now. What we're gonna do is flip this over there. This. And start sliding it on. Now you are gonna see some cutouts on this. These are for the child seat attachment bars. The child seat attachment bars do come out of the seat bottom, so that's what these are for. These are not for your seat belts. Again, the seat belt does not need a cutout because it does not actually flow through the seat. Okay, I'm just pushing this top part of the cover down now. the big old thick Velcro section that we need to stick onto the carpet here in a minute. Now, what we'll do here is this has bottom coverage, what it's called. So it's nice to have this covered on the bottom, so when you have this lifted up, the dog's back here, or you got your bags, or you know, this thing getting dirty back here, it's easy to wipe down. So I'm gonna pull that down, stick that on. Okay, so I got that stuck down there. Now again, this top Velcro, that pushes through right here and comes underneath and sticks onto the carpet back here. Okay, so that's all sticking down now for me. Plenty of carpet back there and lots of Velcro to stick to it. Again, these cutouts here are for your child seat attachment bars. So if you are using those, you can still access them. I'm just pulling a little more slack out of this cover. It looks good, but I think I can get it a little bit tighter. So I'm actually going to take the Velcro off once more and just give it another good pull. A lot of Velcro, so which is good. It gets it really stuck down, but to adjust it. That's why it's really good to line everything up, make sure it's looking good before you stick the Velcro down. Okay, what I was doing there is just pushing with one hand on the top, then pulling with the other hand from the bottom. So, that is the 60 section bottom installed and looking good. So last piece is going to be the headrest. All right, so the last sections that we're going to do are the headrest, rear headrest. And I already did one rear headrest. There's two of them on this vehicle. And so these smaller headrests, this does have our custom logo on it, which is nice, stitched on there. So elk head looking good. And which again is optional. You could do that, or maybe do a different logo, or do it without logos. I'm gonna flip this inside out right here, and the logo side is the one that's on the front. But if you don't have a logo, this scratchy Velcro, the hook Velcro is on the front here. So I'm gonna flip this inside out a little bit. This is another really tight headrest cover, but it's good because looks nice when it's all finished out. Okay, so we're gonna start it like this right here, and with one hand, I'm really just gonna compress this down, this headrest down as much as I can, and then pop this in right here like that. Go to the other side, flip it over, do the same thing. The more you can compress that cushion, the easier to be to slide this over. Okay, so I got one side kind of capped over, but I need to shift the whole thing over this way. So, because it's got too much showing down here. So we're gonna do the roll technique like we did earlier, and take this cover and just roll the whole thing. Yeah, I'm just still kind of working this on. Again, doing the old massage technique as I help this seat cover I take shape around the headrest here. And we're looking pretty good. Again, I'm gonna do my little trick where, let me see what I did on this other headrest here. Yeah, I pushed all the excess fabric to the back side, so I'm gonna push in like this and just, now again, this is a little something extra. You don't have to do this, but you can see like right here, there's the extra fabric is pushed on the back side, and then it flips, and then this one's pushed on the inside right here. So I'm gonna reach in and just push that towards the back. That helps a little bit. Again, it doesn't get everything exactly smooth. I mean, it's not gonna be smooth like new upholstery, but it's gonna be the tightest, best looking seat cover that you can do. That's a pullover cover, and that's gonna look much better. So like when I push that towards the back, you can see that lines out a little bit better, like that. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is down here, we're gonna take these flaps. We got those tucked in, and now we just need to take this Velcro, attach up this Velcro here. That is the headrest. Now, so we got that Velcro attached on. I might be able to get that, hold on a little bit better. There, just a little bit more attachment there, but that's definitely holding enough for what we need. So we got that attached on, those bottoms, that's how those are gonna look. Here's the sides and the back. Okay, so that rear headrest is done. Thanks so much for watching this video. Again, this has been Neil with Covers and Camo, your source for custom seat covers. To see more, you can go to coversandcamo.com. We offer seat covers for trucks, Jeeps, cars, SUVs, and UTVs. So if you have a vehicle you're thinking about getting seat covers on, you need to jump over to coversandcamo.com. We look forward to helping you soon. Thank you.